This is In Pursuit of the Truth. Today, I will take you to a night of horror that occurred in one of Sydney's safest neighborhoods. On July 10th, 2001, a young man called the emergency line in tears, reporting an unimaginable incident at his home. When the police arrived at the scene, the sight they encountered was too shocking to describe in words. A strange message left on the wall, an eerie silence permeating the house, and a cold unease. That day, the lives of the Gonzales family would change forever. If you're ready, shall we begin? July 10th, 2001 began like any other day for the Gonzales family living in Sydney, Australia. Father Teddy, Mother Mary, and their 20-year-old son Zeph had risen early and gone to the law firm where they all worked together. Their daughter, 18-year-old Clouden, had decided to stay at home and enjoy the last days of her summer vacation. He impatiently went through his shift that day because he was meeting his friend in the evening, Seth, who picked up his friend from home around 8 o'clock with his green Ford Festiva, spent the entire night with him in a game arcade. When he arrived home around midnight, he saw that there were no lights in the windows. The family members seemed to be immersed in a deep silence. Seth approached the door with heavy steps, and the moment he entered, he was confronted with a horrifying scene. His mother and father were lying in a pool of blood on the ground floor, while his sibling was in the same state in their room upstairs. Gripped by fear and panic, he called the police, trying to explain what had happened and desperately pleading for help. His tears mingled with his screams. He was acting as if he had lost his mind, running outside. This time, he started crying and shouting in front of the door, calling out to his neighbors. Everyone who heard the young man's pleas came to the Gonzales' house and were horrified by what they saw. The Gonzales family had not just been killed, they had been virtually tortured. The police began examining the surroundings without wasting time to evaluate the evidence. According to initial findings, the Gonzales family had not been shot, but killed by stabbing. Numerous stab wounds and signs of assault were visible on each of their bodies. The most brutally attacked person was Claudine. The young girl had first been struck multiple times on her head and body with a baseball bat. Then she had been stabbed countless times in many places. The examinations of the bodies suggested that the killer might have acted not only to kill, but also as if seeking revenge. The first possibility that came to mind was theft. The person or persons who entered the house with the intention of robbery could have attacked and killed the family. However, upon careful inspection, the police quickly ruled out this possibility. Although the house was in disarray, neither cash nor valuables had been taken. The murders had been spread out over a specific period. The first victim, Claudine, had died at 1610, followed by the mother, Mary, who was attacked around 1650. Later, the father, Teddy, who arrived home around 1820, was the person attacked as he entered through the door. It appeared that the assailant had planned to kill each family member in turn. It was concluded that such meticulously planned murders and the extended stay in the house were inconsistent with the nature of the incident. Another stronger possibility was that this incident was a racist attack. Indeed, "Fuck of Asians" was written on one of the walls of the hall with blue spray paint. The initial statement given by the SF at the scene also supported this possibility. Upon seeing the writing on the wall, the police began to focus on the possibility of a racist attack. However, there were a few points that caused them to approach this scenario with skepticism. The first of these was the weapons. According to the examinations, the murders had been committed using a baseball bat and 2 knives. As understood from the wounds on the bodies, the knives used matched exactly with the 2 missing pieces from the knife set in the house. It didn't seem logical that a person or persons coming with the intention of a racist attack would not bring their murder weapons with them. Additionally, the fact that the attacker entered the house without forcing entry and that it was evident they had used the house's shower after committing the horrific murders suggested the possibility that they might be someone known to the family. To solve this brutal attack, every possibility had to be considered, and nothing had to be overlooked. Therefore, the police began by investigating the family. The Gonzales family was originally from the Philippines. Teddy, who came from a low-income family, had become a well-earning lawyer. Teddy and Mary didn't want their children to experience the financial hardships they had experienced in the past, so they were very disciplined. They closely monitored the children's grades, rewarding their successes and not hesitating to punish them when they received low marks or exhibited undisciplined behavior. Seth, in line with his family's wishes, first entered medical school. However, he soon changed his mind and transferred to the law school. Although his parents were satisfied with both of these choices, Seth was not, because the only thing that made his heart beat and that he wanted to do for the rest of his life was music. All hell broke loose in the Gonzales family home when they learned that Seth was singing and performing on stage. If they ever saw or heard him singing again, they would take away his car, cut off his allowance, and disinherit him. However, the brutal murder of his family suddenly eliminated both the possibility of beautiful moments and disagreements that could have been experienced. The press conference Seth held 2 days after the murders broke the hearts of everyone who watched it.
I cannot express in words how sad I am. My father was my role model. My mother was my best friend. And Claudine was the joy of our lives. They are gone now. My world has collapsed. I beg you, please help find the one who did this to them. If anyone provides useful information to catch the killer, I will give them a reward of $100,000.
Those who listened to Seth Gonzales' touching speech to the press were deeply saddened for him, even shedding tears. Seth wasn't as devastated as they were, for before the listeners' tears had even dried, Seth Gonzales rushed to the family accountant. He wanted to know how much inheritance he had received in total, and, more importantly, when he could access it. Moreover, during this process, the money Seth was chasing wasn't just what was left from his family. The $15,000 compensation paid by the state for funeral expenses and to cover urgent needs due to the murder of family members had also been quickly used up by Seth for his personal expenses. The police, who couldn't make any progress in the file, had not found any trace of the racist attack. However, they had found the clue they were looking for. The police, who kept a close watch on Seth Gonzales, noticed some inconsistencies in his official statement given after the incident. According to this, he was out with his friends between 8 and 11 on the evening of July 10th. This claim was confirmed, but there was an unexplained 4-hour gap before that. Seth Gonzales was now under close police surveillance. The evidence against him was mounting in his file, trading in his family's cars one by one, moving into a luxury apartment, selling valuable jewelry, and putting down a deposit on an extremely expensive vehicle. But it didn't end there. When the clothes Gonzales wore on the day of the incident were examined, an unexpected trace was found. A blue paint stain was discovered on his t-shirt. After thorough investigations, it was determined that this paint on the t-shirt exactly matched the paint used for the writing on the living room wall. Although the police did not have first-hand evidence that Seth Gonzales had brutally murdered his family, the data in the file had finally become sufficient. On June 13th, about a year after the incident, Seth Gonzales was finally arrested. Investigations revealed that Seth Gonzales had previously attempted to poison his mother but was unsuccessful. He had meticulously planned everything down to the finest detail. On July 10th, he came home and brutally murdered each family member in turn, then took a shower, changed his clothes, and staged his scene to make it look like a racist attack on the house. Afterwards, he met up with a friend and partied all night, and when he returned home, he began to play the role of the grieving son. As a result of the trial, Gonzales was sentenced to 3 separate life sentences without the possibility of parole for the 3 murders.